Everyone, and welcome to JSA TV, where we're coming to you today from the floor of ITW 2025 in National Harbor, just outside of Washington, D.C. And we're having conversations with leaders of organizations across the industry who are sharing news, stories, trends, and innovations that are impacting digital infrastructure. I'm pleased to be joined today by Emilie, who is Director of Business Development, and Steve Massey, who is Global Director of Business Development for BCE Global USA. Welcome, Steve and Emilie.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
It's always such a pleasure to talk to both of you. I know it's been a very busy week here at ITW. We're sort of at the tail end of it, but very happy to have the opportunity to chat about BCE Global USA. For any of our viewers who may not be familiar with BCE Global, it's hard for me to imagine, but it's possible. If you could just share a little bit about how BC Global USA is known for coast-to-coast data sovereign accessible routes. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So BC Global USA is dedicated to preserving privacy for our customers, and any data that's brought into Canada. Really, they're also protected by Canadian privacy laws. And from a diverse route perspective, we have full diversity across the country, including routes that are unique to us. I would say Bell takes cybersecurity very seriously. We've been recognized for the last 5 consecutive years by IDC as a leader in the cybersecurity space. As well, we just bought last year a company called Stratagem, which is specialized in security as a service. And then I would say from a geopolitical standpoint, the adoption of AI, zero trust architecture, the risk of quantum, computing quantum threats and attacks. We are, dedicated to, maintaining and increasing that security, and customers are looking to keep that data and move that data online. And so we are, helping in keeping that data secure and within Canada.
It's important. Yeah.
Absolutely. And to add on everything Steve just mentioned, so to give you an idea on the current state of cybersecurity threats, so according to a survey from the Canadian Internet Registration Authority in 2024, so really no later than last year, so 20% of the respondents said that their organization was a victim of a successful ransomware attack over the past 12 months. That's 28%. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
So really with these numbers, you can understand that there is absolutely a need to enhance, cybersecurity measures within our industry. And really, since our parent company, Bell Canada, secures our network within our country, so our customers and our partners can be sure that their data is safe, and that BC Global USA is really doing its part to prevent these breaches from happening.
Yeah, it's so important. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. And I want to talk to you about, Canada is considered globally, I think, a real leader in technological innovation. I know that recently ICED published its strategy around quantum computing, and specifically around making Canada a leader in quantum computing around the world. And so I'm curious what BC Global USA's part of that journey is, if you wouldn't mind sharing.
Sure, absolutely, and great question. I think quantum is going to have a very, very big impact on the Canadian economy. It's projected to have it'd be $139 billion industry and bring 200,000 jobs into Canada.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it is, and I would say unlike traditional computing, such as like AI workloads, I think it's going to drive a significant amount of network requirements, a vast amount of data, a lot more data than we're seeing today, and require a lot more. It's very, very much more latency sensitive, and I think it's our job as the leader in Canadian telecommunications to ensure that we are ahead of that, and that we anticipate the needs of our enterprise customers within Canada.
Yeah. So how is BC Global supporting that journey? Maybe expand on that a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah, great question. And so we've started being involved in a lot of quantum projects that you know pretty much makes Canada a leader in the quantum space. We've started with an innovation hub located in Sherbrooke, Quebec, and where we've provided quantum computing. And there's projects that are going on and expansions going on throughout Canada. Yeah.
It makes me think a little bit about when we, of course, we've said we're at ITW this week. So many people are talking about AI, and of course the power needed for AI. So, in Alberta, for example, the government of Alberta recently announced that they're expecting over $100 billion of investment in data center infrastructure in Alberta, largely because of the off-grid power and natural gas. This with this resource being available not just in Alberta but the rest of Canada, what do you think this means for the just how appealing it is to come to Canada as part of the growth of AI?
And thank you for this question, Barb. I think it's very much a topic these days, especially here at ITW. So as you mentioned, with some of these like recent announcements, some of these government initiatives, really we're going to see a shift. So we're going to see a shift in the role Canada plays in AI and power spaces. So we're speaking with some of the data center operators, and what they do basically is that they take natural gas, they convert it into electricity, which then power their facilities. And we're already seeing a lot of interest from some of our existing partners, nationally, but also from global players. Interest for Alberta specifically, but also for, as you mentioned, like other areas within the country. And really, from a Canadian perspective, the fact that we have winters, the fact that we have a cooler climate really allows for cooling, obviously, but that also translates into potential cost savings. So it becomes like very interesting to implement new facilities in Canada. And lastly, so with some of these data center operators, they are actually even looking at like nuclear power. And so like even like the province of Ontario, for instance, in fact, they are looking at expanding their nuclear power capacity, and really how are they going to do that by just building brand new small scale, but even larger scale brand new nuclear power plants.
Yeah, I would probably add that there's some obviously some sensitivities around that and requires community buy-in. Like when you look at things like natural disasters that could happen related to nuclear. But I think it's you look at Canada and we're not really just a power producing country. We're also not 85% of our power is non-emitting sustainable power. And when you look at Hydro Quebec as an example, they provide a third of Canada's power, and 99% of that power comes from water generation.
I I love to hear that. When you think about the demands that are being placed on networks and infrastructure and what that means in terms of balancing that with the goal of sustainability that so many of us share. I know that the government of Canada specifically has initiatives around this, and I'm curious how those initiatives pair with what BC Global USA's roadmap is.
Yeah, so like from a sustainability and environmental responsibility, as you mentioned, this is certainly a focus for the government for sure. Canada set target for emission reduction, but is also promoting like clean technology as well. And as Steve mentioned earlier, 85% of Canada's electricity right now is generated by renewable and non-emitting sources. But by 2030, really Canada has set a target to have 90% of electricity to be non-emitting, from renewable sources as well. And the fact, like, I think I'm very proud. We're very proud. Our parent company, Bell Canada, we've been recognized as a global leader in sustainability by Corporate Knights. So we really, I think it demonstrates, that strong commitment to initiatives such as carbon neutral initiatives, for instance.
I agree on the pride piece. It makes
Yeah.
me proud not to only to be Canadian, but to work with a great company like BC Global, part of Bell Canada. So thanks for sharing that. And there's more exciting news. Speaking of BC Global USA, I think, can we talk about it? I think there might be some news that you
Absolutely. So there is a potential acquisition on the way. So as you are aware, as some of our listeners may be aware, so our parent company, BC, is in the process of finalizing the acquisition of Ziply Fiber. And so, if we're able to achieve that goal, BC will become the third largest fiber provider in North America.
Yeah.
So that's definitely some very exciting news.
I mean, that's amazing. Third largest in all of North America.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that I just always feel like there's just so much more to chat about, but we only have so much time. But I want to thank you for joining us today, and for anyone who may want to hear more, again, because we've just sort of scratched the surface here, how can they connect with you?
Absolutely. Well, so you can connect with the both of us on LinkedIn, Steve Massey, Emilie Poirier.
As well, you can reach us at bcglobal.net. And thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure. And thank you to our viewers for tuning in today to JSA TV.